We're live from the Mattress Firm broadcast booth at NRG Stadium, where the Houston Texans have fallen to the Cleveland Browns 36-22, and they dropped to 8-7 on the year. The Mattress Firm broadcast booth, and the Texans almost put to sleep by the Browns today, but they woke up in the fourth quarter with a couple of touchdown drives to make it interesting. However, not interesting enough, as Houston's offense really never got going today. The fourth quarter, Davis Mills led them on a couple of TD drives earlier on. Hard to run the football, excruciatingly difficult to throw the football, as Case Keenum was 11 for 17 for 62 yards and 2 interceptions today. And the Texans defense gave up a record day to Amari Cooper, who ends up with 265 receiving yards, a career best for him on 11 catches, 2 TDs. Joe Flacco, masterful with 368 passing yards. Memorable moments brought to you by Coca-Cola. Well, we might have had one or two here. Delicious, ice-cold Coca-Cola for you, your family, your friends. On the holidays, together tastes better, Coca-Cola. All right, let's get to this. Cleveland, opening drive of the game, 36-yard kickoff return, and 4 plays later, they're in the end zone. Flacco goes deep. They get a first and goal situation. Jerome Ford, 4-yard TD run on third down, and it's 7-0 Browns. Later on, 75-yard touchdown pass from Flacco to Cooper, and you got the idea. Flacco was off to a terrific start. But in the second quarter, the Texans finally got on the board, and this could have been a pivotal moment. It's certainly a memorable moment. Kickoff return at the 2, left side, over the 5, 10, 15, 20. Pierce still going, 25, 30, out to the right side, 40, 45, 50, to the right sideline, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, rock and roll, yes! Coast to coast, Dameon Pierce. Outstanding to see Dameon Pierce produce that 98-yard kickoff return for a score. Just tremendous work by him. It was 14-7. You felt pretty good about the situation, but the Browns would score again. Texans made a stop, but Cleveland got it back at their 40. However, a penalty gave them the ball at the 50, and Joe Flacco would eventually find Njoku with a 21-yard touchdown pass to make it 21-7. The kicker hurt, so they went for 2. It was 20-7. Then they went for 2, 22-7 to count. Texans got it back, but threw a pick. Flacco threw a pick to end the half to Derek Stingley Jr., his 5th of the season. We went to the third quarter. Texans unable to get anything going on their opening drive of the third quarter, but Cleveland put together a couple of long touchdown drives in the second half to build a big 36-7 lead before Mills and company would do some damage on offense. Davis with a 61-yard drive, 10 plays, found Nico Collins, 5-yard touchdown pass. Texans get it back. Onside kick. Mills to Andrew Beck, 1-yard TD pass after Mills was called with a touchdown, 10 yards, but they called it back. They said he was short by 6 inches. Didn't matter. Texans unable to get things going late to get the ball out of the hands of the Browns in time to mount a serious threat. They had the ball inside the final minute. If they scored, they could have gotten the onside, but that was a lot of work to do that they could not get accomplished. 36-22, Houston loses, and a lot of things to reflect upon after this one as they got some help today. Indianapolis losing a game to the Atlanta Falcons today, and the Tennessee Titans, they'll be here next week. That doesn't really matter for the Texans' cause, but they lost to Seattle. But good to see the Colts lose a game to the Falcons on the road, 29-10. Dre, what's the pass rush report following this one?
Yeah, our HEB sack report, the Texans had 1 sack in today's game. Jerry Hughes got to Joe Flacco, the only sack in the game, and as part of Sacks for Hunger, HEB will donate $1,000 to the Houston Food Bank every time the Texans sack the quarterback. The HEB Sack Attack brought to you by HEB, the official tailgate headquarters of the Houston Texans.
Dre, obviously the Texans need C.J. Stroud back, but they need numerous other players back as well. The injury bug bit again today as Jonathan Grenard left early with an injury. Jimmy Ward out. Steven Nelson checked out but came back into the game. But they need Will Anderson back. They need Blake Cashman back. Those two players are not on IR.
Yeah.
You could really use them as you have 2 huge games left of the regular season. I just laid out the teams that are at 8-7 currently.
Kind of need their presence around or on the field. And Jimmy Ward, I don't know if today you're going to wish that you had sat him out and then let him get healed for the next one rather than continue the setbacks. But hopefully he'll get himself ready. Will Anderson, I think CJ should probably turn the corner and be ready for next week's game against Tennessee here. So with all that being said, they've got to get well in a hurry and then find a way to win 2 tough football games.
Tell me about, well, we'll talk about Tennessee in a few moments here, but it's gut check time for this defense.
No doubt.
They've given up a lot of yards through the air. They're doing well against the ground games of opponents, but through the air it's been a tough go many of the last few weeks of action. They've come up with some big stops at the end. We talk about Arizona. We talk about the Saints, but from time to time it's been really hard to stop the opposing passing attack.
Yeah, when you're missing 2 players the caliber of Blake Cashman and Will Anderson Jr., that sets you back a lot. And so you're starting to see the effects of that. And every down linebacker, one that can play the run as well sideline to sideline, and then in coverage he's awesome as well. And then a guy that can get to the passer, a pass rusher, that you never have enough of those. So it changes everything for you defensively, and to get them back next week against Tennessee, you'll see a big difference if that is indeed the case.
Let's hope they can heal up for the New Year's Eve battle against the Tennessee Titans. Reliant Power featured player of the game, proud to be the official energy provider of the Houston Texans. Reliant, well, Andrew Beck has 3 touchdowns on the year, 1 rushing, 1 as a kick returner against Jacksonville. You remember that one on the road. And today, receiving touchdown for the first time this year, and Johnny Harris catches up with the fullback in the locker room.
All right, guys, down in the locker room with Andrew Beck. Andrew, first of all, I know it's a tough afternoon, but you get in the end zone again. Take us through the touchdown if you don't mind.
Yeah, Bobby dialed up a great play for the moment, and, everybody executed, did their thing. It was a pretty easy pitch and catch for me and Davis. But, like you said, tough afternoon, so take the wins where we can, but got to look at the tape and see where we can improve.
Got to bounce back. Obviously, it's Tennessee. Saw him last week. Now you see him, 2 weeks later. I know that's kind of tough. But what's kind of the biggest key for you guys, Andrew, you think, offensively to bounce back, get it going next week?
Get back to what we do best. There's nothing that we need to do that's special or magic or the things that we haven't done before. We just got to get back to, who we are and what we do best, and we'll be able to execute against a good defense in the Titans.
As the only guy that's had a kickoff return for a touchdown this year, seeing Damian get another one and equal you, what was that moment like for you?
That was so cool, man. That was so cool. Watch him pick up those pigeon-toed knees and take off, man. It was really cool. I'm so excited for him. The things he's fought through this season, to be able to have a moment like that and execute what we told him to. He's a team guy, man. So as soon as you see something like that for a guy like that, that's so cool. So cool. I'm so happy for him.
Andrew, you guys have had so many great moments throughout this year, and I know this is a tough one. What do you think is the biggest thing in just rebounding as a team to come back next week, New Year's Eve day against the Titans?
Yeah, like I said earlier, just get back to what we do best, be who we are, and we'll be just fine. I think everybody in the locker room knows that. They know this wasn't up to our standard, and they know that we can play better, and we're going to play better. And, that's exciting for the fans is knowing that we can come out and fix what we need to and win out these next couple of weeks and see what happens, see where the cards fall.
Andrew, I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Great to hear from Andrew Beck after the game. Wish it was a happy locker room. It's not. 36-22, the Texans lose. You want to be playing your best football this time of year. They are not. Played great last week for the most part in defeating the Tennessee Titans on the road in a gotta-have-it game. Today against the incoming 9-5 Browns. Well, now the Browns have their 10th victory of the year, and the Texans still fighting for that winning campaign and playoff berth, but they've got company in the wild card chase and a date coming up with Tennessee. Boy, we know them well, just having seen them last week. Tail of the tape brought to you by Prime Sport. Visit primesport.com for your VIP experience needs. Andre, last week the Texans held Derrick Henry to a historically poor performance, 20 touches under 10 yards. It's never before happened in the history of the league. Well, today, 19 carries, 88 yards, and a touchdown. He also threw a touchdown pass today, caught another pass for 11. Henry, is he back? Is he not back? Whatever he is, you got to get ready for him again next week.
I wish this game were placed, somewhere else in the schedule, that it already have been played, or because after doing that to him last week, he's going to have it out to prove a whole lot of doubters wrong, and this version of the Texans team, they let them know he's still Derrick Henry. So that's the scary part, but they did have success in playing against him last time, so we'll see how it goes next Sunday.
It's not like Ryan Tannehill lit it up today as the Titans lost to Seattle 20-17. Tannehill 18 of 26, 152 yards, no picks, no TDs. But Dre, if Levis is healthy, do they still play Tannehill anyway? Do they go back to Levis because they're out of it now? Do they need to continue to play Levis to develop him?
I think they're going to play Levis to develop him, and they know they're out of it. Also, with every loss kind of elevates you in the draft.
Yep.
So you get better there, and you get a more experienced quarterback at the end of the day. So I think Levis will be the starter next week if he can indeed go.
All right, that's going to do it here from the booth. And Sean Pendergast and Clint Sterner will have the post-game on the flagship Sports Radio 610 in Houston and on the Odyssey app and Texans app. Merry Christmas to you and your family, Dre.
Same to you, my man, and we'll do it again next week at this time.
Got to bounce back next week on New Year's Rocket Eve with the Houston Texans taking on the Tennessee Titans.